on to John Dramani Mahama. The first day, yesterday was his first day in office. Immediately, he called for a crisis meeting because Dumsor is looming. Now, I think now I said, Isi was telling me even before a year, I think it's the day of the inauguration, or catch me say, currently, some about to an air patch say Ghana no, Sika yedebe to gas, and a year fuel. Need to power the nation in New now even Krano, you bet Krana is going to take 2 weeks. Atia saying Mahama Bano. You see, the whole thing is to paint Mahama's government with Dumsor. Aha, into any that is angry your baby beer. And I remember there was a video which was trending. One share video no. Ernest Owusu Bempa was telling us say Mahama Mamu no mo bano obi timid in say sinibuaka say had beba Dumsor will come. And all no castle, yes, because he's a prophet. It is not because he's a prophet, because he knows there is no money. He knows they've mismanaged the country's economic affairs and they destroy things. And at the end of the day, there's nothing left for him, Mahama. It's any not in our can only say Ghana for also there. You doom lighter, we don't care about the genesis. The Indian say Dumsor near the two dinso. But then I think the ordinary Ghanaians have really grown now. Even though Dumsor I start to say a bank kitchen, people are really considering saying Enye Mahama for. And I think that tells you this particular country, in terms of illiteracy and research, we are growing individual. You ever into screen, so you are see a voice as to what is really going on. What is on the screen? Can you read it for us?
Mahama government will need nearly $90 million to prevent Dumsor without gas from WAPCO. Gridco and the same way a bit mountain.
So you could see clearly from what is really going on, there's really no money. In some of my country there then it's kind of any hope. But yes, Mahama after a crisis meeting yesterday, this was what he did. He called stakeholders, Gridco 4 koye, ECG 4 koye, top 4 koye, it is a Palo or one more or more Gridco or Munina, everybody was part. And the whole meeting was how can we solve this? And Mahama gave a laudable idea. They want to basically bring something that we will call the private sector. Mahama person the private sector every rim. What I say, Mahama person the private sector every rim, and we saw that, and I think NPP's first administration when the PDS deal came. But then okay, you could see how he wants to tackle this particular Dumsor issue. A bra of a crisis meeting any least mistake we as a Ghana, you better go back to you.
This government has not been able to add one single drop of oil or gas, cubic meter of gas, to what they inherited from us. And that is for many parochial reasons. The producers in the oil and gas sector have not been happy. Some have been hounded out. He and I went to Cote d'Ivoire for many years, went and invested there and came up with the Baleine field. And that has been at the expense of what they were doing in Ghana. We tied down Tallow in litigation over tax, which I thought we could have sat across the table and discussed amicably. Unfortunately, we lost the arbitration and were thrown out. And there are two other aspects of that tax issue that we need to sit with them, and if we can negotiate and agree a mutual agreement, then I think that would be the better option to take, and to encourage as many players in our oil and gas sector as possible. I was vice president at the time. My president, Professor Atta Mills, signed the MCC. Actually, I signed it, but he initiated the discussions. And when he was ready to sign, I was the one who signed it. And it was meant to improve and make Ghana the most efficient producer of electricity in Africa and become a major hub for electricity exports. Unfortunately, democracy has its dividends, but it also sometimes can be a curse. We left government and a new government took over. and took over the Millennium Challenge Compact, mixed up the last segment of it, which was providing efficiency in distribution, billing, metering, and all that. And of course, PDS is history now. But we want to take a look at that again, because if we don't fix the Electricity Company of Ghana, we will continue to have a major problem with our whole power value chain. I spoke to the Americans during my last visit to the US. We met the Millennium Challenge Corporation, and we asked if it was possible for them to reinstate the $190 million that they had devoted to that aspect of it. And they said the door is not closed. And so we need to pursue that discussion. Or if we don't have access to the 190 million, if the World Bank can support us, to be able to finish that aspect of it, so that we can reduce the losses, where it has to do with the IPPs. But in the meantime, what we want to do is to restore some transparency in the system, restore the cash waterfall mechanism, so that we stabilize the situation until we're able to carry out all the reforms in that sector. The cocoa sector was doing very well. Unfortunately, I think the new management that was put in by this government has not been as good, and so we've seen a collapse in cocoa production. Part of it is due to climate change, but part of it is also that the farmers do not receive a fair price for their product, because if the farmers receive a fair price and they have a good income flow from cocoa, they're not going to sell their cocoa farm to somebody to come and cut down the trees and exploit and explore for gold. So those are all things we want to see, what reforms we bring into the cocoa sector to cut the size of this humongous state enterprise called Cocoa Board that spends 3.4 billion CDs on itself every year.
Because the president Akasa, he's talking about issues our babeto from the previous government, from the energy sector, and cocoa crowd there so befife muni ade. That should tell you.
See, they blame game in Kwan and predecessors.
That's what people are saying. Say Mahama should stop
1 year.
This whole blame game thing. Captain Smart class your man is 6 months. Yes, Captain so man is 6 months. After 6 months, na so be shipa ukruman say. So the whole blame and I better say and I say. I think say one thing we didn't really see the New Patriotic Party do no. A woman said almost said Mahama enya more money ade, but they didn't talk plenty.
It's true.
Oman kasa bebre. Ye wunya ne so the PDS ababe fem. So even if there was an issue at the energy sector crowd, we wouldn't know. The Omama yeti asiane so Mahama ja Dumsor and Omo be solve Dumsor. As to what exactly the problem was, no, we didn't know. And I was watching this analysis na Efia Pokia Vim lady yes, she's there. I was watching this analysis na and no numere between NPP any time NPP buy any time NDC buy and the problems that were there NPP be who any idea, and you could see say one of the parties in Kanokre was same way mu. Is it that say NDC is lying to us or NPP lied to us? It's two things. And then your mama atomeka no credit, and it's very sad say Omoma State of the Nations address. They don't give us the State of the Nations address. They give us State of the Mind address. The Omomu say Omomu feeling your margin because if you are really giving us the State of the Nations address, then every sector be and so ububu bafem ma sebe in se Ghana fompo no montiasia in central fontiasia no mumbubu muma the lay Ghanaian person to understand. But moban makabro fuck no madane dani and right now you people are giving us a lot of complaints. Cocoa then they say there've been videos minim se when hubia obi also we jai cocoa or turn aside some family to galamse because
so those videos are trending.
But on a real so ye shen so ekufuado buy wabetu cocoa sikem from 700 and something to almost which is very huge. The increment is very huge according to some cocoa farmers, but still now we are still hearing complaints and they say no why ne chantro and why ne canocre. Because as it stands now, Mama Pessoa chair say baby energy sector na kwa kudru no. But my question is, Day na no mo ye inauguration no. John Jinapo eka kire say we have barely 5 hours. Na se kurom nyina ye tum. Yeti enso kanea yi meme wonum say fiti da ye inauguration ye ndum kanea da. Office hansu ye ndum kanea ye minim say bia ye pon adwuma mo ye night job ni ye dum kanea wa ha dia mo na mbeti ache. Because 5 hours na so apa ho. Almost 48 hours. Some people like oko cantonment ni is legoni ade ye ndum kanea wo ho ye. Meme ho ye ndum kanea ye. So what aden no mudi ehun she Ghana fo. Because right now Ghana for there we are very sarcastic. And I na Mahama about the Dumsor beba. So I don't know whether they I say ehun bia tom so say Dumsor beba and parao say it is true say something is wrong somewhere because the way they are talking about the Dumsor thing is too much. It's very very too much. Until no the omun focus it. Na the ACB the omun say we don't Madam Fibe say we don't want to know what is happening. The best one say Kanya Siso. Kanya Siso among evidence, say, or man to oil near there, and as a man to gas and dear, because much I say 8 weeks nebedi, and sana moto I bedi 4 weeks. Namasa the 4 weeks are refining, and sana mudia produce ECG namai 8 weeks in the year chain. As now, me, I'm still calculating to see if true what the man said is true because I still have doubts. Instead I say amanyoko no mu ba ku twa ye ntro. Nti omoma ye hu de ekoso na omo hu na ne dum so obi
I'm just I like the idea of Mahama introducing a private sector to the whole thing. Honestly, I personally think that anything be a private sector it is a juma. And even our company is a testament to it. If this was a government institution, clearly you should know where it will be heading. What you say. But if it's private, you know, say the people want profit. You know, say the people want quality. You know, say the people want to be at least they want to be ahead of the curve. They want to compete. What you say? Yeah. They want to cut costs. But a government, they don't seek to look at all of this. The private sector, and I think a critical example is the telecom communications. And see, we privatizing because now I can say you be privatizing ECG. We saw that the labor union and a whole lot of people stood up against this PDS day. Okay.
Yeah.
And the DRBC has it. But then it was really a right. Just that the MOUs and also the contracts clauses, you know, and very weird. But apart from that, it was a very good initiative. Most of the even all UK, America, and all of them, they have this the energy companies are private. Energy companies in New York alone has about getting to 20 private electricity companies. 20. You can choose. It's a way and you can flip it to here. You can flip it to here. And that is exactly what this country needs to do. I will see you beam when there's competition, there's a better service, there's quality service near that. So the question is, how would this private sector thing work? It is so simple. We will treat it like banks.
Okay.
Once a Ghana was central bank.
Yeah.
The central bank is the top of all the bank, and then they oversee almost all the banks.
Yeah, they regulate all their affairs.
Exactly. To me, say or ABSA, which is Barclays, even though Barclays is a private bank, the head overseeing the Bank of Ghana and the central bank. So in this case, the ECG is going to be there as a central energy company, and you are going to have your friend is a subset companies, a be a private, a be a public, and they'll compete amongst themselves, and so they will take the power and the distribution. The distribution can be a Cola Company Limited and a Cola Energy. The Cola Energy, in a place like McCarthy Hill, Cola Energy, or more distribute ECG for or more energy nibi. You were Uni Energy. The energy is near bebre and will be in the system. What am I saying? At the end of the day, ECG na power but subsets private companies, and we are going to have a better service if this should happen. And at the end of the day, what these private companies will do is that they are going to subsidize it with your friend is saying solar and other forms of energy. So this is exactly where it should go. When it happens like that, you can switch. Okay, my main example, Oba Ghana has here the NCA, the National Communications Authority. they oversee almost all the telcos.
Yeah.
The MTN, the Vodafone, yeah, there. But then you see that down, no, we have MTN, we have Vodafone, we have Tigo, we have Airtel, we have Glo. But then amongst all of these companies, no, me know you said a better service, MTN.
So people will purchase
Vodafone, which my friend Vodafone customer service, be 2 weeks gonna win. Yes, only be being Toby, useless telco company.
They should employ people to do that.
What I say? Meanwhile, try this. Call Ebu Dawa Machina who feeling lonely. Call 100. And your friend na a bema no wakatino. Two friend be 3 times na unyo ba. Na only na kasasa. Oh yeah.
That's what you guys have been doing.
And your friend, my name is Josephine, and then no, sister Kakawu is okay. When you're bad and I de akasa.
Now mommy is serious.
We are serious, pa. Meanwhile, if you are calling Vodafone, hey. And about 2 crowd office on my page, Mark Rebecca to say the customer service support. I am Intifre Toby and I call chatty BBF Toby. And it tells you and it shows you how quality MTN service is compared to the others.
Toby chatty.
So you try Toby when chat and one reference could read a link on how to solve your own issue. It is that bad.
Oh goodness.
So no wonder say even though MTN their prices, it has gone really so high. Still Ghanaians. I remember during the time, Eslowusu, Omu push MTN for increasing on prices. Yeah. One expert, I think it's from the University of Ghana, Legon Eka, say making a service expensive is not going to push the customers. And we've seen that over and over again. Umami Suzuki. Now, mame, second-hand Jeep. Mefa second-hand Jeep, Suzuki, brand new.
No.
Yes, a brand new Suzuki 2025. I'll leave it. Ma offer second-hand Jeep a 2016, 2015 model. Why? Because we know what the second in brand no. It can be the same price, but the brand you've tested and you trust the Jeep. We've tested and trust the BMW. You've tested and trust the VW and these foreign cars, the Benz. We know what it can do. What am I saying? So, the lecturer said that pushing the brand to give more expensive prices, it's not going to sway people away from MTN. And it is true. Prices now cost Brazil kakra 50%. Still people are using MTN. So I was say ECG. So ECG will be like the NCA. Not companies are about to talk. No more regulate, no more a better day too. What you say? So imagine say, your baby maintenance. Now you send no message 2 weeks ago. Ni amount of time, date, time I didn't even do. Ni asan catch us say, essence you do light in criteria. Asan check be account. Imagine if an electricity company is doing that. Yes. But ECG why en crowd?
What wa?
Ni do no. What you say? Utuani you do no. Say it is sad. One time I was cooking using this it's a rice cooker. Now my stove nasa. So I think say almost be 1 month square. Now me use so rice cooker is electric. Oh, it jam me yet your love be now fine. Ebeba. And so I wine you so being suku pot. Adiasa I think say 9:30 10. Uko bobu punu say. And when you see well.
So sad.
Yes, it had to spoil because our machine go for gas when he and a light no so I did almost saw a crown machine too and my da. So I was saying which is very sad. But if the company have told you said this time we do light, you soon say jollof now, but you can know how to improvise it.
Yeah.
So Mahama stands a chance of doing what is really good at. I mean, let's just give him a chance. 1 year and 6 months, what will really happen in terms of all of these things. So it's a more update as all of these events continues to unfold.